Benchmark indices extend gains. Nifty steady above 21,600 mark, while Sensex trades above 72,800. All sectoral indices in the green, barring media, with Realty hitting an all-time high. And Bajaj Finance, Ujjivan Small Finance, Angel Broking surge on better-than-guided Q3 update. Nifty IT slips from morning highs to trade in the red on Morgan Stanley, reiterating, and LTI, Mindtree, HCL Tech and TCS extend losses. And Interglobe Aviation has withdrawn fuel charges on recent fall in jet fuel prices. Will other airlines follow suit? We'll find out. Hello and welcome. This is Hot Money. I'm Agam Vakil, and in this show we take you through all that is buzzing in trade. At the moment, we are looking at markets which have been relatively quiet. On a Nifty weekly options expiry, we have seen the benchmarks remain consolidated over the course of the last couple of hours. For now, however, they're both advancing. That's something of a surprise, considering there was expectation of some amount of weakness today, considering global cues weren't very encouraging. But we are looking at a contrary move in that case, at least as far as the constituents of the Nifty are concerned. Well, we'll take a look at what in fact is driving these benchmarks higher, and we can take a look at something like an HDFC Bank, which is contributing considerably along with Axis Bank. Remember, Bajaj Finance came up with its quarterly update, and that is also up and about. NTPC has been spoken about of late as well from the power sector, and that is also providing a little bit of a support to the benchmarks. On the losing end, we saw the IT space will start with some gains, but we're starting to see some losing out on that one. TCS and HCL Technologies under pressure at the moment, and Bharti Airtel along with Dr. Reddy's to a certain extent, well, showing that bit of weakness. The question really is that where do we go from here in terms of the markets? Let's address the broader markets too, and at the moment they are outperforming the benchmarks by just a tad bit. If you consider the mid-cap 250, the top gainers on this, well, we will have something like a Puravankara, which is up as much as 12.8%. We have something like a KCP, which is up around 11.8%. Kolte Patil, along with a whole host of other stocks which are from the real estate sector, and we're going to talk about that as well in just a bit, all up and about in trade. On the losing end, we do have weakness in Shanti Gears. Remember, Shanti Gears is also one of the big upmovers as far as 2023 is concerned. But I reckon we're looking at about a short covering, or pardon me, shorts building into the system, perhaps, but a bout of profit taking coming through. PSP Projects is under pressure, down 3%. Shivalik Bimetals, that was the other one that we had addressed a couple of sessions ago. That is also under pressure by as much as 3%. And of course, VST Industries, that's down 2.5% after gains seen over the last couple of days. So those are largely some of the key movers with respect to the broader markets. And well, we'll continue to keep an eye on that one. With that, let's talk about what we're going to talk about in the show today. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on a whole host of financial stocks. NBFC specifically, Bajaj Finance, along with something like a Poonawalla FinCorp, a whole host of relatively small cap names in the private sector banks which have also come up with their quarterly earnings, quarterly updates. And we also have Sobha, along with a host of realty companies which are up and about, and of course Torrent Power, where we have seen a lot more in terms of volumes. But to take us through and understand these themes and stocks, we are also in conversation with Vivek Karwa. He is the Chief Executive Officer at Vidhi Investment. Vivek, good morning and thanks for joining in. Vivek, just hold on and stay with us. We'll talk about the NBFCs right at the top, and we do have an update from Bajaj Finance as well as Poonawalla FinCorp, which are in fact rallying on the back of the Q3 update coming in. We have Pragati, who's joining us to give us an update on the same. Pragati, good afternoon. What do you have for us?
Hi Agam, you're absolutely right. The Q3 provisional figures of both Bajaj Finance and Poonawalla Fincorp are out as of this morning, and you're absolutely right. The stocks have been rallying in the market as well. Now, if I have to look at the numbers specifically and bring them to you, let's look at Poonawalla Fincorp first. The disbursements are up almost 12% quarter on quarter. The AUM is also up 8% quarter on quarter, and our viewers can have a look at the numbers that are there on their screen as well. Now, if we look at the asset quality, which is a very important metric for NBFCs as well, the company has simply said that the GNPA and the NNPA ratios are expected to move further or to improve further. While they have guided that they're striving to maintain the NNPA below 1%, there are no exact figures as of now available to us. If you look at liquidity with this company, it is at almost 2,800 crore as of this quarter. But let's also remember that these are the provisional figures, and we have to wait for the actual numbers to come out. For Poonawalla Fincorp, we must remember that in the last quarter, when the numbers came out, the profit rose over 9 times, but that was also because on the sale of its subsidiary. Back then, Poonawalla Fincorp sold its investment in Poonawalla Housing Finance as well, so that was a main driver of the profit. So this time we need to see what drives the profit, what are the numbers coming out. Another NBFC under our focus, under our radar, as you rightly mentioned, is Bajaj Finance. Now, very interesting set of numbers, relatively above guidance as well, and that's possibly a reason why the stock is rallying as well. If you look at the customer franchise, it is up 22% year on year, and they have mentioned very clearly in the numbers that about 38.5 lakh new customers have been added to their books, and this means that the new loans have also been up about 26% year on year, and the AUM is also up 35% year on year. Now, two main things that we need to look out in Bajaj Finance, and we'll definitely be reporting on them as well when the numbers come out, are the net interest margins and its rural D2C, rural business. Because what happened in the last quarter was Rajiv Jain also guided that the company's NIMs are expected to compress further because the cost of funds is expected to go up. And as far as the business in rural areas is concerned, because of relative slowdown in the area, Bajaj Finance was one of the few players or the lenders that cut down on some business in the small ticket loan segment. So these are the two things that we'll be looking at. We'll bring you the fresh updates as we have them.
Sure. Pragati, thank you so much for joining us and taking us through those numbers from those two NBFCs. Let's get in Vivek into the conversation. Vivek, good morning. First up, your view on these two, specifically these two companies specifically, Bajaj Finance, how are you placed on this one, as well as Poonawalla Fincorp, if you do have coverage on this?
Good afternoon to you and all the viewers. See, first of all, the company has stated, come out with a great set of numbers. And most of the analysts, including me, were quite bullish on banking and financial services, mainly financials. And that is proving out to be correct now. So when you talk about strong customer acquisition of Bajaj Finance, that is a great positive going forward. And they are also talking about like 33-34% growth in the AUMs going forward. So which again augurs well for the Bajaj Finance as a company. So I totally agree with the Morgan Stanley report also, which has come out today morning, in fact yesterday evening, that the stock can hit as high as 9,500, 10,000. So you should actually be very bullish on the financials even now and carry on holding it. Both the stocks, in fact, Bajaj Finance and Poonawalla. Now, Poonawalla, again, now the management is bullish. They are very positive on gross NPAs and the net NPAs improving further going forward. And the kind of digital marketing they are using, in the sense digital presence is what they are doing. And most of the business is coming through digital medium. So faceless loan disbursals, faceless customer interactions is really doing well for Poonawalla. So it's a young company, and I think I have been an investor in this since very, very long, and it has really created wealth. And going forward, also looks like the company would do well. And again, management also is interested in this business a lot. In fact, Adar Poonawalla has been investing in the company as and when he got the opportunity. So definitely a hold.
Right. Right. Thanks, Vivek. Just stay on with us. And we will also be staying on with the financial space because we also have updates from a handful of mid-cap banks, Ujjivan Small Finance, AU Small Finance, along with Bandhan Bank. Before we take your view, let's get in Harsh to give us an update on the Q3 in terms of what's coming in. Harsh.
Well, yes, absolutely. So you've got provisional numbers first off for Ujjivan Small Finance. Of course, stock is buzzing in trade on the back of that. But advances growth 27%, quite a reasonable growth number given that the base is slightly smaller. Deposit growth, though, very impressive, 29% growth on the deposits front. We also had CASA ratio moderating, but that is largely the trend across the industry. So nothing much to be done because there's been a shift from deposits to CASA. Quickly moving on to AU Small, well, gross advances there up 20% on a slightly lower base. That's quite a slightly tepid growth is how I would term it. Deposits, though, growing very, very well, 31% year over year. And you're seeing CASA grow by around 13% odd. Again, CASA ratio shrinking by around 1% or thereabouts. Bandhan Bank, growth is back in a big way. That's one good thing that I can make of the numbers. 7.7% sequential growth coming in from Bandhan Bank. On the deposit growth front, 5% sequential growth on deposits as well. Your loan to deposit ratio is almost 100%. So that's one thing that Bandhan Bank needs to figure. The other piece is your CASA deposits are down by around 2%. Again, we're seeing some growth, but negative growth clocked by Bandhan Bank on the CASA front.
All right, Harsh, thanks so much for that. Vivek, your view on some of these mid-cap private sector banks?
See, I, in fact, like Bandhan Bank. And see, the company had gone through, the bank had gone through a lot of trouble, just the way RBL Bank was going through. And now finally they have started improving on their numbers. And I feel that 262 is a quite attractive buy if somebody really wants to enter financials and banking in particular. So among particularly private sector banks, among smaller banks, I think Bandhan Bank should be my best bet today. And again, I think the stock should again touch those 300 levels pretty soon. So in fact, I had given this as a buy recommendation in some other channel. I continue to hold it up.
Okay, stay with us, Vivek. We'll slip in a short break, but on the other side, we talk about a whole host of other sectors and stocks that we want to track. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit. Welcome back. And now let's talk about the real estate sector. The index here, in this case, has made a new 52-week high, potentially a life high at the moment, and it just continues to go from strength to strength. It's not every day that you see an index move up by as much as 5.5–6%. But as we speak, we're looking at significant gains, and right at the top of that list, we have Soba, Godrej Properties, Macrotech Developers, DLF, Brigade Enterprises, all of them advancing in trade. There are no losers on that particular index. Of course, even some of your relatively larger names like Oberoi Realty, along with something like a DLF, are advancing and doing well in today's year of trade. The question is, where do we go from here? And why is it that some of these names are buzzing? Let's get in my colleague Anushi to give us an update on this one. Anushi, what do you have for us?
Right. So Nifty Realty is having quite a field day today, with the sector gaining about 5% in just today's trading session itself. Now, if you look at the rise, it is the highest ever since its October 7, 2021 gain it had made. Now, these gains, as you mentioned, are led by Soba Limited, Brigade and Macrotech Developers. But not just that, Agam, if you look at the other realty stocks as well, which are not a part of Nifty Realty, Puravankara and Signature Global also showcased about 8 to 10% strong growth in those counters as well. But let me just circle down to Soba Limited, wherein Motilal Oswal had picked it out at its top pick for 2024, wherein they have maintained a buy rating at a target price of rupees 1,400, which implies about 25% upside. So a couple of reasons that they have highlighted are: one is the expected Soba launches that are going to happen in the coming period. Then they are seeing about 25% of CAGR growth in the pre-sales number to about rupees 100 billion for the FY23 to FY26 period. Along with this, land monetization of Bengaluru land assets is expected to lead to better re-rating of the land valuations. So do watch out for this. The stock is up about 14% today, and with volumes trading about 9 times its 30-day average.
Thanks so much for that, Anushi. Well, Vivek, your view on the sector? I reckon it may just be a tad lit to get into fresh investments as far as the real estate sector is concerned. However, still, at this point in time, how would you place yourself?
What a moment in reality, this thing. See, in March, the index was at approximately 390, and today we are talking about 833. So that shows what sort of interest has been there. And I have been very bullish on reality, and I continue to be so. I'll tell you the reasons also. Most of these companies, particularly companies like Oberoi Realty, Shoba, DLF, first thing is whatever projects they are launching, they are just getting sold within a jiff. It's quite fast cash flow which is coming in. Secondly, see, we are at top of interest rate cycle, and the expectation is that interest rates might come down from here. So as and when interest rates are going to come down, I think most of this realty space companies will benefit, because the EMI costs of the customers would come down. So yeah, as you said, definitely the sector has moved up a lot. So if somebody wants to enter afresh, you can split your investments into a few months. That is, you can do a 6 months SIP into reality. But going forward, I think with the focus on Tier 2 and Tier 3 companies, many of these companies, Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, these companies will again benefit out of demand from those cities as well. So reality long-term is bullish, short-term can be volatile. So you should split your investments and enter it.
Okay, that's the view coming in as far as the real estate sector is concerned. And we finally move on to Torrent Power, where the company has in fact signed 4 MOUs with the government of Gujarat. We have Himanshu standing by to give us more on this. Himanshu.
Thanks, Agam. So Torrent Power, it's been consolidating for the past 5 sessions, and you're seeing an uptick of over 13% today after the company signed a MOU with the government of Gujarat ahead of the Vibrant Gujarat Summit for over 47,500 crores. Now, this investment is planned in renewable energy, green hydrogen and power distribution. And the investment breakup is as such, with 3,450 megawatts of solar power projects that are envisaged, 1,050 megawatts odd of hybrid power projects, and associated infrastructure of 7,000 megawatts for solar projects and power distribution. The company, now why is this significant, is because the company already has 1,000 megawatts odd of renewable project capacity in the works, and this is 3 times that size, 3 to 4 times that size, which is very significant for this company. It also is a beneficiary of key tailwinds like increased reliance on renewable energy as well as development of power capacity in this area.
Right, Himash, thanks so much for those updates there with respect to Torrent Power. Remember that it continues to gain the favor of the Gujarat government and has, in fact, this is not one of the first MOUs that the company has signed with them. But Vivek, your quick view on this one, if this is under your radar?
Not closely tracking Torrent Power, but overall the sector looks good because you can find, in fact, a full power sector. So what I feel is valuation-wise, yes, the stock looks a bit stretched after the run-up, and Gujarat-based companies are actually moving up. So the expectation is that in Lok Sabha polls also, Gujarat would give a good number of seats to the ruling party, and hence the positive sentiment. So you can continue holding it on, but fresh buying I would not advise.
All right, Vivek, we will very quickly address what's happening in terms of the Q3 earnings. We have GM Breweries where we, in fact, do have earnings and not just an update here. The total business coming in at around 6.7 lakh crores as on December. That's Central Bank of India, pardon me. That's the business update here. Okay, we will come back to, some of these updates. We're slipping to a short break. On the other side, we talk about Angel One and what's been keeping that stock higher. Stay tuned in. Finally, we have Angel Broking, which is in focus, where the stock has advanced in trade after updates for the month of December, where things continue to go from strength to strength. Its ADTO has increased, as has its client base. Client base up by as much as 53%. And we are looking at strong ADTOs, overall ADTOs climbing 22% on a month-and-month basis, some staggering numbers. Vivek, we've been seeing this stock go from strength to strength. What's your view on Angel One?
I see my view would be that you should be long-term bullish on the entire wealth management space. Now, why so? As you said, client base is increasing. In fact, Angel One has seen good traction in commodities business, the stock exchange business as well. So, with markets being bullish, I think more and more interest of retail investors would keep coming in, and they would keep acquiring clients going forward as well. So overall, the wealth management space and even the listed AMCs look good to me. I think next 5-7 years, this space is really going to grow really well. So if you're having it, you should definitely hold it on. And as I said, overall space looks good.
Okay, Vivek, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us and taking us through your views on the markets and the several stocks and sectors that we've discussed. And with that, it's a wrap on Hot Money. But don't go anywhere. Losma lined up. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.